Hi, this is Jane at Green Side Up. Today we are going to talk about string of things, string of plants. And there are all kinds of different kinds of string of things. For instance, there's string of pearls, string of dolphins, string of hearts, and etc., etc. We will be talking about some of those. The care of them are very much the same no matter which string you have. And so I will be talking kind of a general care guide, and no matter what kind that you have, kind of plant that you have, you can apply the principles to that kind of plant. First of all, I want to say that I am doing this video today especially for Sadie. Sadie is one of my young customers. She's the one that gave me the idea, and hi Sadie, I'm doing this for you. The first plant I'm going to talk about today is one that probably a lot of you have heard about. It's called string of pearls. And this is one of our string of pearls that we have. A string of pearl and the rest of the string of things are what would be called a succulent. A succulent is a family grouping. They hold water inside the little leaves, and so they do not need to be watered as often. That is not to say you don't water them, but not as often as some other types of plants. So for instance, this string of pearls, as you'll notice, it's very full here on top. You see that? And it's starting to group, it's starting to have the pearls coming down. This is, I guess, the string that hangs down and what makes these kinds of plants so appealing. This particular one is an all green one. I also have one that is variegated. The variegated is just a string of pearls, just like the other one, but you've got some white and a little bit of pink also in it. Another type of plant we have is this one. It is called string of needles. And you see they're just tiny little skinny leaves on this. This hanging basket is called a string of hearts. And when you look at the plant, you will actually be able to see the heart shape in the leaves, hence the name. This plant is labeled string of purple necklace. I don't know if it's supposed to have another name, but we've called it string of purple. And when you look at this plant, that the stems are a pinkish purple color. That's the name on this one. Now I'm going to show you one other thing that is not a string variety, but it has some of the same characteristics. This is actually called a burro's tail. As you see, it still drapes down. These pieces will come off very easily. You treat it just like you would a string of something, but it is not technically considered that, but it has a lot of the same characteristics. Okay, so as I said, a lot of these strings are of the succulent nature. Being a succulent, it means that you do not need to water them as often. However, that does not mean that you don't water. And you want your plant to look like this, nice and full. This one is kind of a little scrawny there in the top. That has to do with two factors. One, it can be a water issue. Two, it can be a light issue. So I'm going to address both of those. So if you've got something that is very scrawny on top, shall we say, one thing is watering them instead of watering them on top like this, is setting them into a pan of water and letting them soak up the water from the bottom. There's a lot of plants that really appreciate being able to soak up that water from the bottom. And these certain kinds of strings are one of those kinds of plants. Another way to get your plants looking lush like this is to make sure that the top of the plant here is getting enough bright light. It's so easy to have your plant, sitting a little ways from the window, especially in the wintertime, but even now in the spring, and they're just not getting enough of that bright light to encourage that growth on top. So, giving them enough light, and then there's another thing you can do. Instead of having them hang down, you literally take your little strings and you loop them up right on top. And what will happen is that they will start to plant themselves on top of that soil, and it will fill in that top area of your plant. say that you get a plant that is literally kind of growing out of its little pot and you wish to replant. First of all, when you replant any kind of a plant, you just want to go up like one size as far as pot size. So on this, I would not put this in a great big pot. I would go up just, this is a 2-inch pot, I'd go into like a 3 or 4-inch pot. The other thing, when you're potting succulents like this, you're going to use, you can use a regular potting soil, but you're going to want to amend it with probably some sand and some perlite. That will just make it a little bit looser. It's a little better mixture for succulents. If you have questions about care of your plants, either succulents, string of things, or whatever, you can leave a comment in the comment section on this video. We are open here at Green Side Up every single day of the week. We would be happy to entertain your questions and help you with every kind of, well, I guess whatever kind of plant problems you would have. Spring is coming. We're going to be doing lots of outside plants very soon, and we hope to see you here with both your inside plant questions and your outside plant questions. This is Jane with Green Side Up, and I will be seeing you soon.